You know, Alex, last week when we took delivery of the 2013 Honda Pilot, I was instantly a fan. This was replacing the Acura MDX that we had just reviewed. When I saw this in the driveway, I thought, this is my car for the future.
Well, it might not be the ultimate urban assault vehicle, but I have to agree, there's a lot of things to like. A few things that we don't like so much, but overall I think Honda's going to give us another winner.
I think so too. Coming up on this episode of Everyman Driver, we're going to pop the hood here and go underneath and tell you about the engine and performance, talk about gas mileage, that kind of thing. Alex is going to tell you what he thinks about the ride and handling.
And finally, we'll let you know whether we would buy this beast or not on the Everyman Driver ownership scale.
You're going to like this one. Thanks for watching. Everyman Driver starts now. We're going to begin with what's underneath the hood of the Honda Pilot. And to do that, Alex, pop the hood. He's going to find it in a second. He's going to show you his best side right here.
Let's see. Up.
Nice work. Do you need some help?
No.
Sweetheart?
No.
There you go. There you go.
All right, so 3.5 liter VTEC V6, 250 horsepower, and this does have the VCM, or variable cylinder management, so this will actually pop it down to a 4-cylinder in low speed driving, save you some gas mileage.
5-speed automatic transmission. It's rated at 17 miles per gallon in the city, 24 on the highway, so they're looking for that magic number of 20, which they did. Overall, I think it's a pretty good value for gas mileage for such a large vehicle.
Yeah, I am maybe a little surprised that they used a 5-speed in this. Probably would have gotten a little better mileage out of a 6-speed, but you know, you are trying to keep costs down, and overall 20 miles a gallon for a car this big, not too bad.
And it's a 4-wheel drive too, so that's kind of a nice bonus as well.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for ride and handling for a big SUV. Is that redundant? Big SUV? It moves pretty well, and I like the steering on this. What's your driving impressions?
I love this car. First of all, coming from, you know, I drive a sporty little car with a manual. Going to a big SUV like this, I just find it so relaxing. You just sort of roll down the road. This is a great car. Steering is good. You know, it's actually a little heavy, which is a good thing. Steering wheel is slightly bolstered. These seats are phenomenal. And the other thing I love is that I feel like my arms just rest perfectly on the side of the door and the center console here. I got in this car and instantly I just felt at home.
There is so much space up here.
Yeah.
It really is a comfortable driving experience. And we've had a lot of snow and ice here in the Spokane area recently. And going around corners, dealing with that type of road surface has been a real easy experience for me. I've had a great time with it, and I'm looking forward to driving in the snow in this Honda Pilot.
Yeah, and as far as interior goes, I feel like, you know, Honda's pretty much nailed it. I mean, I like everything. I even like this instrument panel here in front of me. Dave, I think you and I would both agree. The one thing we don't like is the placement of this, of the shift lever.
Yeah, that's a little bit odd having it kind of stick out that way. But I mean, there's your pluses and minuses. This is nearly identical. The center console is nearly identical to the MDX.
Yeah.
When we had that exchange, I remember the guy who was doing the trade-off says, "Hey, you'll notice the biggest similarity is that they just basically replaced the center console with the MDX and put it here in the Pilot." One of the things that stood out to me is the fact that, of course, we got a vehicle that's in the low 40s in terms of price. MDX was in the mid to upper 50s when it's nicely equipped. The trade-off is the luxury element, and I don't miss it. You know, the MDX obviously is meant to be a luxurious ride on the inside, but this, even though it's plastic, it's hard looking, I think it fits the style and the purpose of this car.
I could not agree more. I felt like, I don't know, I this interior isn't as nice, but I like it more. And, you know, who knows? Maybe that's hard to sort of, for some people to understand, but I just feel like this interior is so usable. It's great. And even this weird shift knob, what it does is open up this enormous space for the center console here. So, you know, this car felt really well thought out. I think it's great. If I was buying a big SUV, this might just be the one.
And here's the thing, it doesn't come any more luxurious. This is the top of the line for this Honda Pilot.
Yeah.
If you want something more, that's when you go to the MDX. But they stopped at this level to make it more affordable.
Yeah, and I think this is about the perfect amount of luxury for a car like this. I don't think I would want any less, but at the same time, I don't think I need any more. I feel like it's really got pretty much everything you want and everything you need, but not so much stuff that you're going, well, you know, you're paying an extra 10 grand for stuff that you don't need. A few other little bits that I love. The screen has got stars in the background. When I first looked at the car, I actually thought that it was like dust. And went to clean it off, and so, you know, that's a fun little touch. And also this whole kind of steering setup is just really intuitive, really user friendly, and the little nav screen right here in the middle, it's not intrusive, just gives you the information you need. And having a big speedometer in the middle tacked to the side is great, because anybody driving this car, they don't really care what their RPMs are. They really just want to know what their speed is.
And remind me if I'm wrong here, we don't have a push button start in the Pilot, and the MDX did not have a push button start.
Correct.
Which we didn't mention in our last review, but that's an odd thing to not have in these vehicles.
Especially because the CR-V did have a push button start, which is the cheapest of the three vehicles that we're talking about here. So I don't quite get that. I don't really care about push button start, but I do see it as sort of a luxury accessory, and yet the cheapest car from of the three is the only car that seems to have it. So let us know what it is, Honda. What's going on? The rear legroom here in the Pilot is pretty darn good. It's actually better, Dave, than the MDX we tested last week, but it's probably the same size and a cheaper car, so I don't get it, but it's great.
Well, from what I remember, this is a lot larger and wider vehicle than the MDX. When it was in the driveway side by side, it was a huge vehicle. That's what I could tell.
Yeah.
And there actually is a little bit more legroom back here in the third row seats compared to the MDX. Headroom is amazing.
Yeah.
Of course, I have the seat down right here, but there seems to be a lot more space inside the Pilot than the MDX. But of course, the MDX is more of a luxury vehicle, whereas this is more of a vehicle that is useful.
Yeah. Speaking of useful, the wireless headphones that come with the drop-down entertainment system here double as earmuffs when you're cold. And the one thing that puzzles me about this entertainment system, it's great, but this release button here sends this thing down. I don't know if you can release.
Like a remote, like a in your hand remote?
Oh, is that what it does?
So you can pass it around?
It doesn't come off though.
Should we again rehearse this? Should we have done this ahead of time?
Well, no, I just don't know what that is. Somebody on YouTube, make sure to comment and let me know why this thing drops down. Dave, let's take a look and see what the trunk's like.
As we just mentioned from the inside, this is a much larger vehicle than the more luxurious and more expensive MDX from Acura. I really like it because you can put a lot of stuff back here. Automatic liftgate, you can either use your hand right here or Alex it has on the key fob. I'll just get it going right now.
Alrighty.
Plus you also have the button up here to close it automatically as well. Look how much space is back here. This seems to be more versatile than we saw in the MDX.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got, first of all, this third row seating actually has 3 seats. Acura MDX and many of the other optional third row cars only have 2 seats, so that's awesome. These fold down. And really, Dave, this is what most people are going to use, I think, on a daily basis. You still get 5 passenger seats, but you're getting a ton of cargo room.
And I was mountain biking here in Riverside State Park just a couple of days ago. I was able to put my bike right here with just those back row seats folded down. If you want to put the middle seats down as well, you can get twice as many bikes back here. And just imagine all the things you could carry, luggage-wise, camping equipment, sportswear, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Now take a look at this. This is kind of cool from the inside. You can give yourself more room back here, but the second row seats here slide actually. So if you want more leg room in the back seat, you can have that right here. So put these back up. The handles here. Keep on getting that.
There we go.
Look how much more leg room you have if you want to stretch out a little bit, or even put these back in their upright position. You'll still have more leg room than before.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little benefit that you can slide these. Not all middle row seats are slidable.
No, in fact, I think that we've tested, this is the first one. This whole car is really smartly laid out. We like it a lot.
Yep, cool. The MSRP here on the 2013 Honda Pilot 4-wheel drive with the touring package is just under 42 grand, a steal in my opinion. So Alex, on the Everyman Driver ownership scale of 0 to 72 months, how many months would you give this vehicle in terms of ownership?
I'm giving this the highest rating that I've ever given a car in this show, 66 months. I won't give it 72 because it's not perfect. No car is perfect. But this car's pretty darn close, especially for $10,000 less than you can get essentially an equally equipped MDX. There's more room. The interior's great. This car drives so nice, so easy. It's such a nice place to be. It's really hard to find fault with this car. I love it.
I'm going to give it 60 months too, because I'm not sure what car I'd have to see to give it 72 months.
Right.
Again, that's the perfect rating. By the way, the 0 to 72 months, that's the average length of ownership nowadays for a new car is 72 months. So if you're to buy a car, that's how long they say you're going to own it. I'm going to give it 60 months. This is the car that I want to complement my other Honda in the driveway. If I were to have another Honda, which it would probably be a Honda Accord, I would have a Honda Pilot and a Honda Accord in my driveway, because this is an ideal vehicle for a growing family, for utility, going off-road most likely in some respects, if you want to get over some difficult terrain. Not off-roading per se, but I think this is a fantastic car. I don't mind that it's not super luxurious on the inside, because I'm thinking, you know, a useful vehicle that it's okay to get dirty, it's okay to kick around and have some scuff marks on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of these kind of grocery getters, if they're luxury cars, you feel like, oh, if little Timmy scratches the floorboard or something, you know, then all of a sudden the whole thing's ruined. This is a car that you can just feel, you pile all the kids in, you pile the dogs in, you know, everything else, and you just feel like you don't mind if it gets a little scuffed up.
And you still have some fun features on the inside, like that DVD player.
Yeah, I want to sit in that back seat, put on a NC-17 movie, have a blast.
All right, with that, thank you so much for watching this episode of Everyman Driver alongside Alex DeFries. I'm Dave Erickson. We'll see you next time.